Alrighty, everyone, welcome along. In this video, I am going to be critiquing some of my own work. That work in question being the thumbnail for Botgrinder's latest video. Influencers are ruining FPV. Little bit of background if you need it. My name is Mike. I like to fly drones around. I also like to create digital content. And I particularly like working with thumbnails. I enjoy the science behind it. I enjoy all of that kind of noise. And yeah, I make thumbnails for Botgrinder, who is a relatively well known in the space in relative terms, relatively well known FPV creator. So influencers are ruining FPV. This was I suppose we should go into this one. Well, no, before we get into this one specifically, here's what the plan is for this video and for these videos in the future. I'm going to try and I learn a lot by reviewing my own stuff and like being reflective about the work I've done, trying to work out why it worked and why it didn't work and all that kind of stuff. And YouTube's a great place to be doing that because it gives you a lot of data. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at the latest one, the latest video thumbnail that I've created for Botgrinder that has worked well. That's great. Good for me. Good for Botgrinder. I'm also going to look at one that didn't go so well that I can learn from, and then I'm going to actually redo. Not live on here, but I am going to redo. You'll see that one change hopefully in the next week or so. I'm going to look at the Gel Blaster drone video, which there's a fair bit to talk about in that one because of the content, also because of the battle that went into creating it for Botgrinder himself and like the work that went into that one. There's some emotions around it, which I try and not be emotional or conspiratorial around the success of things on YouTube. I think it's all there in the data if you look for it. So there's some stuff to talk to around that one as well. So we'll take a look at that one. But first of all, yeah, we're going to start with this one, the influencer video. So this actually came from a sketch that Botgrinder had in his mind. So we collaborated pretty early on this one. Our process, generally speaking, is Botgrinder will let me know what the video is going to be about. I'll start thinking, then I'll see an edit, and I'll work towards trying to combine the thumbnail, the title, and the first sort of 5 seconds of the video, which is best practice as we have it at the moment for creating clickable thumbnails, because you want all those things to work together. You need to deliver something and you need to deliver truth. So where did I go with this one? Essentially, we attempted to make you see what Botgrinder was feeling, and I think it's fairly evident on screen what I'm going for that. There's him surrounded by money, surrounded by some sort of very, very typical shots of people who we would kind of think of as being like influencers, models, people. There's the selfie guy there. There's a little, hey, how you going? Selfie girl over here as well. We're getting likes. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We look at these little likes and the comments and the follows. He's absolutely in a cloud of influencers here. This is the one that Botgrinder went with on the video. I did some other variations that I'll show you. I generally will do a ton of variations. He'll choose the one that vibes with him the most, but it essentially will tell the same story. I think he made a pretty good choice with this one though, because as we look through them and then we step back and look through them from a distance, we'll see that I think of all of them, this is the one that pops, the one with the plain gradient background here. And it tells the story. I'm going to have a look at 3 things with this as well. I'm going to have a look at how did it go? Like, how did it perform? Which obviously there's some extra stuff to talk about because this became a bit of a controversial video. Talk about what I think is good about this one. Talk about what I think could be better about this one. And then just kind of assess it from there, see if there's anything we can learn from it. So let me look at the different examples and why I think Botgrinder chose the right one out of these. So essentially, I played with backgrounds on this one. I couldn't really decide what I was going for. This, like the fire background for like the chaos, the carnage, the, oh, what's happening in my head kind of confusion vibe. It might tell the story, but it looks like shit, and kind of burns out a lot of these elements. So I think that wasn't the right choice. Here's another sort of example of fire. Again, doesn't pop at all compared to the gray, especially if we look back on the grid here. I really think he gets lost. The influencers get lost in these other ones. One other one that was brighter that really played heavily on that money theme was this one with the notes falling down in the background. But again, everything gets lost and confused. It was so confusing. I had to pull pretty much everything out of this one, but it looks like shit. It's busy. It's confused. It's not a vibe. The other one I was working on, which again was getting really gnarly, and I was playing with a couple of things at the same time on this one. I actually quite liked, because we'd made a conscious decision, believe it or not to use real people and not to single anyone out with this content and with this thumbnail and title. I was playing with the theme of whacking the sort of little sensor bars over these guys' eyes. So let me just chuck that out the way for a second. And am I going to be able to grab that? Ugh, that's going to be a bit of a faff just now. But I was playing with these sensor bars, chucking them over the eyes of the influencers here to like kind of add a little bit of like, whoa, well, who are these crew, right? And I guess that speaks to the tone of the video as well, which is, arguably just like, who are these people? Who are these, specifically when he's talking to the point of like your photographers who are now in the FPV space, thanks to the sort of DJI Avata route, all that kind of stuff. I guess that added potentially, or I thought that might add to that sort of mystique. So that was another option, was chucking those in there. And I went all out on this one. I just threw everything at it. We got I was really just sort of finding my way through here. Generally in my process, what I'll do is I'll try something, duplicate, try something, duplicate, try something, duplicate. So I've always got an idea of my process. It doesn't always look good. Sometimes it looks like absolute shit. But this is where we got to with this one. Again, came back to this point, really, really emphasized that white outline here because I was fighting against the background, and it doesn't look great. I don't know. I don't hate it. Like if we're comparing this one and that one, I think either of these would have performed similarly. I'm not sure. I'm getting lost in my keystrokes here. What the fuck am I up to? Right. So comparing these two back to back, does one pop better than the other? I still think actually in this case, he made the right choice by going with the gray one. And it's a great title as well. I think from memory, forgive me, you're going to see some mad stuff on my recommended. No, what do I want here? I want Botgrinder. And I want his video, which is this guy. Our influencers ruining FPV. So he's put the emphasis on that question there, which I think was a smart thing to do. It was something we kind of talked about in the background. So yeah, here we are. Here's where we ended up. So how did it go? Well, it performed really well. It actually performed like really well straight off the bat. First day we had, so with Botgrinder, we're aiming for we want a solid 10 to 20,000 views per video. That's where we're aiming for. We want at least 10 in trying to grow the channel. He's got such an engaged audience. He's got 45,000 subscribers and gets 10 to 20,000 views per video, which is a fucking huge percentage. This one got, I think it's sitting currently on about 25. Sharing the wrong screen. So we're looking pretty hot in terms of our target there. Bear with me. I've got Canva always opens up on a different tab. And when I'm sharing tabs, that becomes an issue. Maybe I should share the window actually. That would be a smart thing to do. Where was I going? Where was I going with my chat? I'm just going to share this window because I don't need to share sound right now. Okay, there we go. Now I can use tabs. Happy days, everyone. So with this one, it performed really well. In the first 24 hours, we hit like 6,000 or 7,000 views The impressions were good. The click-through rate was 12, 11, high 11%. I've got screenshots of stuff from Botgrinder that I'm not going to show because I don't really have the right to show those because they're his analytics. But we got 12% on a thumbnail, which is bloody great in the first 24 hours. Outstanding. Since then, obviously, it's blown up a little bit, which has been really cool, and has sort of rocketed with the stuff behind it to one of his more successful ones. This is in his top 10 videos now, which is great for me because I want to see my thumbnails obviously performing well on his channel. I'm just going to look at my little messages here. Where did he put those thumbnails? So yeah, we were looking at, that's not the click-through rate. There's the click-through rate. Yeah, we're still sitting on at day, what must this be? This is day 4 or 5. We're sitting at 11.6% on click-through rate, which is great. Okay. What's interesting about this video as well is I assumed, because there's drama, let me explain the drama. Okay, so somebody felt called out by this video and created some conversation. That conversation has led to a lot of discussion. I'm not going to really comment on it. I don't want to get involved in any of that. But there is a little bit of a furore happening behind this video, I think it's fair to say, and lots of people sticking their oar in. I'm just here to talk about the data and the thumbnail. But what we learned, I thought that stuff was bringing new people. But as it turns out, this video has performed super well among Botgrinder's audience. That's what the stats are telling us, which is all right. Now, what that tells me could be a number of things, right? It could be that people want to support him, or it could be that the title and the thumbnail have just resonated with Botgrinder's audience. I think because of the stats we saw before anything else happened, when it was just performing on its own like any other video did, we were hitting 12% click-through, and we were on target to hit 10,000 views. So it was doing its thing already before anything else happened. So super happy with that. I think it's conveyed the message right. It's made people want to click in combination with the title, and it's also, people are really vibing with this style of video from Botgrinder at the moment. The Bardwell called it a video essay. It's more of a video opinion, I reckon, than a video essay, but you know, whatever. So yeah, it's worked. It's hitting those kind of, we're almost center framed, so we're slightly leaning towards the rule of thirds. I'm drawing on the wrong screen. So we have there our rule of thirds, right? Split the screen horizontally and vertically into thirds. We've got our points are around here, so our focal point is right there. It's all happening. All of our heads are in that central third. So that's cool. Technically, it's all right. And in terms of data and performance, it's all right. So that's kind of, I think, what's good about it. It does the job of telling the story well. What could be better? I really need to, what I could work on better is my game here. So sometimes, I don't know, you work with what you've got. This is the photo I got. And I did my best to kind of color treat it. Color treating is not my expertise, but I think we did okay. It could be way better though, because compared to, I mean, it does look like dog shit, the picture of Bot compared to these stock images, which are also obviously beautifully lit, beautifully high res. I had to cut this one in a bit. The lighting's not perfect, whatever. It is what it is. You work with what you've got. So I think that could have, that's something I can for sure improve on. If we zoom back out again and have a look at things out here at that sort of smaller scale, I don't know. I'm not going to be too harsh on myself. The money's not popping. There's a shadow on the money right here, which maybe I could have found a better image for that, but I'm not going to beat myself up too much about that because again, it has performed. So like it's done its job. Pretty stoked about that. TBH. So yeah, that was that one. That's about all I've got to say on that one, really. Let's look at one that didn't go well, and let's talk about that. So I want to look at the gun drone aka... Oh, that's Gundrone V1. There was 2 different versions, weren't there? Hold on a minute. Botgrinder. Where's the other Gundrone one? Where has it gone? That's weird. Because there's that one. Okay, this is interesting. I've lost one of my own files. Did I... Copy of Gundrone. There we go. Okay, cool. So I wanted to start with the one that we are sitting on right now, which is, I think, this one. So Gundrone went really badly. I think it might be sitting on 10K views now. This was a big video because the process of filming it was a tough one. It took him a couple of weeks. No shade. He was just banging into problems and having some issues. It took a while to shoot. He put a lot of energy into it. And he wanted it to work. And I wanted it to work as well because I'm a human being. And I wanted him to be rewarded for his hard work. But also I felt like it was an easy win. A gel blaster on a drone. I felt like there was such a good opportunity with this one to draw in other viewers and get a new audience watching Botgrinder's videos. It did not work like that. Now, why do I think it didn't work like that? One, I think this thumbnail's garbage, honestly. Like, looking back on it now, it's not good. It doesn't, like, let's just zoom out. I mean, it's okay. We had some alternate titles and alternate sort of bits and pieces for this one. None of them are questions, right? None of them are questions. And I think potentially that's an error on my part. Well, that's a question. None of them really, I don't know how much these worked to make people go, I have to see this. I was convinced that gun on a drone would be a huge hook. And we actually used the word gun in the title and on here as well, because I used the first thumbnail we ran with, I think, was this one, which I think is okay. It's okay. It implies a little bit of jeopardy. It tells you, it screams at you what's going on. Maybe we screamed too much. It doesn't give you any idea of the thing not working on here. There's no risk or anything. There's no jeopardy. It's fucking average, honestly. Real average. And all I did was muck around with different colors in the background. Should have been a gimme, this one. Should have been easier. But then we focused in arguably too hard on the product here, right? We started looking at the thing itself. And the problem here with looking at the thing itself is, with peace and love and nothing but respect, she's fucking ugly. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. What a mutant. Like, it's great. It works. It functions. And a lot of hard work went into it. But it looks confusing. And the reason I say that is, if you think of, like, put yourself in the position of someone who does not fly FPV, doesn't know what a drone or what a quad is other than a DJI thing. What is this if you're looking at it from that perspective? So I made an error there, and I'll hold my hands up and take responsibility for that. I thought that this was a good enough representation of the idea in the video to draw people in. Obviously, it wasn't. It obviously wasn't. This video did really badly. We did wonder whether the word gun, using the word gun in the title and in the thumbnail, was an error, as being a flagged, more controversial topic. But I don't think that is the case for 2 reasons. One, gun videos exist and they get millions of views. Like, it's content that already exists on YouTube. I don't think that's a good reason for this being flagged. Number 2, we got the impressions that we would expect. Like, the video was shown to people and people chose not to click it. Okay? That kind of blows the other theory out of the water. YouTube didn't serve my video to people. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. And we've got the impressions to prove it. It 100% did. And the thumbnail and title didn't work. So I'm going to change this one up. It might be too late now to get this one too high, but we gave it a red hot crack. I'm going to go for a completely different tack. I don't think you're going to see the device itself in the next version of this thumbnail. It's going to be more Botgrinder focus. So you're going to see his face again, because that tends to work, honestly. Because he's so recognizable and because his audience is so engaged, like I said, his sort of ratio of views to subscribers is so freaking good that we have to lead with his face. We're really missing a trick if we don't, because people want to see his videos, because his videos are captivating. Someone's calling me. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up soon. So lots could have gone better with this one. It did not perform. It's kind of trash. What could be better? Pretty much everything. This one's going in the bin. It was trash. The V1 was trash as well. That's going in the bin. This has been a tough one, and it's been hard to watch it fail, because, like I said, this person, Botgrinder, has put the effort into it, and it just didn't fire. Free puns. So yeah, that's about it, everyone. I'm gonna do this as often as I can be fucked, which might be once a week, because that's how frequently Botgrinder puts out videos. I'm going to look at the last one I've done, see how it's going. I'm going to look at one that hasn't worked. If you have thumbnails that you want me to roast, send them through. If you want to work with me, you can find me on Botgrinder's Discord. I'm not sure what email address is linked to this YouTube account. But that's it, everyone. Peace. Have a great day. Remember, the algorithm is people, and it's not against you. All right? Peace. Have fun. Bye.